It is a wonderful morning right here on Citizen 93.7 FM. Today being the 14th day of May 2024, it's time to bring you the newspaper review right here on your talk station. Joining me this morning to review the papers is our in-house analyst, our chief operating officer, and also a seasoned journalist, Mr. Salman Salami. Good morning, sir.
Very good morning to you, our presenter, and our super citizen listeners. Very good morning to you.
Okay, to our listeners this morning, we do hope that you're properly tuned in, and then you can hear us talk about the stories from across the national dailies. As usual, we'll take a look at the Punch newspaper, Vanguard, Daily Trust, Leadership, This Day, Nigerian Tribune, The Nation, and also The Guardian. And we like to encourage our listeners to please call in at the half-hour mark so that we can, hear your opinions, hear what you have to say regarding some of the stories, if not all the stories that we'll be looking at this morning. But then until that time, we hope you stay tuned. My name is Shaun Smith, and this morning we'll start the review with the cover page of the Punch newspaper that reads Electricity Tariff Hike. FG convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protest. FG convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protest. Band A customers opt for solar as energy costs triple. Band A customers opt for solar as energy costs triple. National Assembly moves to bar CBN governor from partisan politics. National Assembly moves to bar CBN governor from partisan politics. Controversies trail murder of skitmaker in Abuja. Controversies trail murder of skitmaker in Abuja. Rivers crisis, why Wike is playing God. Asari Dokubo. Federal government plans performance-based salary scheme for workers. Federal government brother in new 19 billion naira fraud. EFCC indicts Sirika brother in new 19 billion naira fraud. Governor poll. INEC resumes voter registration in Edo, Ondo. Governorship poll. INEC resumes voter registration in Edo, Ondo. 2027. Atiku will be in a Shade Alliance talks against APC. 2027. Atiku will be in a Shade Alliance talks against APC. International Monetary Fund says federal government may need supplementary budgets to pay minimum wage. International Monetary Fund. Federal government may need supplementary budget to pay minimum wage. Amazon, Meta, Microsoft used 2,500 times more electricity than Nigeria in 2022. Amazon, Meta, Microsoft used 2,500 times more electricity than Nigeria in 2022. And we still see here on the Punch newspaper for today that Anambra community protests as stepson kills 69-year-old widow. Amotekun arrests 45 suspected criminals in Ondo. Police probing of Abuja customs officer in own apartment, NCS. And now we'll take a look at the Vanguard newspaper for this morning, 14th May 2024. Tariff hike, the cover page reads, Labour protest disconnects NERC, TCN discourse offices. Organized Labour yesterday shut down the headquarters of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC headquarters over the recent hike in electricity tariff. And still on the Vanguard newspaper, endorsing high interest rates to tame inflation. 7.4 million consumers still without electricity meters as installations rise 5%. 7.4 consumers still without electricity meters as installations rise 5%. Tinubu directs all MDAs to purchase CNG-powered vehicles. Tinubu directs all MDAs to purchase CNG-powered vehicles. I would also see here that Naira depreciates towards the 1,520. Guba polls. INEC resumes voters registration in Edo, Ondo. Guba polls. INEC resumes voters registration in Edo, Ondo. Governor Umba awards scholarship to 17-year-old aspiring pilot, pays 23 million naira initial fees. Governor Umba awards scholarship to 17-year-old Nigerian stocks to deepen retail capital market. Bamboo launches Nigerian stocks to deepen retail capital market. Push to the wall over state police by Eric Teniola, and that is an editorial you find on the Vanguard newspaper. We'll also see here that NIMASA approves minimum wage document for seafarers. NIMASA approves minimum wage document for seafarers. We'll take a quick look at Daily Trust newspaper today. The cover page also reads, tariff hike, Labour insists on reversal. Pickets NERC, disclose offices. The organized Labour on Monday insisted on total reversal of the recent slain FIRS official planning to marry in December. Uncle, slain FIRS official planning to marry in December, says the uncle. There's a Nigerian daily here on the Daily Trust newspaper. Says how residents manage to pay rent in Abuja. We'll also look at more stories here on Daily Trust. Southwest stakeholders meet on education. Southwest stakeholders meet on education. Educators, 15 BDC operators in Kano bag 6 months imprisonment. 17 BDC operators in Kano bag 6 months imprisonment. 2 Chinese, 30 others arrested over illegal mining in Oyo. 2 Chinese, 30 others arrested over illegal mining in Oyo. Kaduna's Old Panteca Market, now Vocational Training Center, NBTE. Kaduna's Old Panteca Market, now Vocational Training Center. Israeli protesters block aid convoy headed to Gaza. Now the federal government to TikTok, it says moderate your content. Federal government to TikTok, moderate your content. The federal government has told social platform TikTok to moderate its content to reduce online problems like hate speech, misinformation, and cyberbullying. The Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, Kashifu Inuwa, made the statement on behalf of the government while playing host to a team from TikTok who visited the agency's corporate headquarters in Abuja yesterday. Inuwa, who reiterated the need for a safe and inclusive online environment, stated that content moderation strategies will help in addressing online problems and protect minors across the country. That story you'd find on the Daily Trust newspaper today. And then we'll also see here that FEC to continue today. FEC to continue today. 2024 Hajj. Nakun targets June 10 for completion of airlifts. You find the stories on the Daily Trust newspaper. Lastly, we'll see here as well that we must restructure NYSC to meet future demands. Federal government, we must restructure NYSC to meet future demands, says the federal government. And now on the Leadership newspaper, electricity tariff hike. Labour shuts down NERC discos. in state. You find this on the cover page of the Leadership newspaper. We see here as well that Olaopa seeks overhaul of Nigeria's education system. Olaopa seeks overhaul of Nigeria's education system. Chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission, Professor Tunji Olaopa, has advocated for a comprehensive overhaul of Nigeria's education system to bridge the widening skills gap. He critiques existing policies and the ambiguous definition of a teacher. He stresses the need for a balanced approach across universities, colleges of education, and polytechnics to address national development. Church empowers over 20 FCT women on SMEs. Church empowers over 20 FCT women on SMEs. Fix Owa Onire Owu Waterfalls Road. Community begs Kwara government. You find the stories on the Leadership newspaper. And also, alleged inducement. Ida Osa dares Obaseki quits PDP for APC. Alleged inducement. Ida Osa dares Obaseki deadline for submission of governorship candidate list. Ondo 2024, INEC set May 20 deadline for submission of governorship candidate list. I will still see here as well that Zamfara APC debunks chairman's suspension. Zamfara APC debunks chairman's suspension. And also, Atiku hosts Peter Obi in Abuja. You find the stories on the Leadership newspaper. And we quickly move on to this day. On the cover page, it says, in FT interview, Cardoso says investors getting comfortable with Nigeria's FX market. Cardoso says investors getting comfortable with Nigeria's FX market. We'll also see here a recurring story that we've seen across other papers. Electricity tariff, Labour pickets TCN, discos, NERC offices, ground operations. Fubara resolves violence. Nigeria-Taiwan trade volume hit $500 million in 2023. Nigeria-Taiwan trade volume hit $500 million in 2023. Lastly, we see here that Melinda resigns from Gates Foundation, gets $12.5 billion to set up own NGO. Melinda resigns from Gates Foundation, gets $12.5 billion to set up own NGO. You find the story on this day newspaper for today. Nigerian Tribune cover page reads, hardship, FG's palliative policy failed Nigerians. Hardship, FG's palliative policy failed Nigerians. Cleric. Would also see that FG plans new wage system based on workers' productivity. FG plans new wage system based on workers' productivity. In MDAs, Tinubu ends purchase of petrol-powered vehicles in MDAs. Game on. Fubara set to probe Wike's administration, institutes panel of inquiry. Game on. Fubara set to probe Wike's administration, institutes panel of inquiry. Would also see here that LASA unveils amnesty program to enhance signage registration payment processes. LASA unveils amnesty program to enhance signage registration payment processes. NNPC E&P Limited NOSL hit first oil in OML 13, Akwa Ibom State. Lastly, you see here, driver killed, 4 sustained gunshot injuries as kidnappers abduct 3 in Ibadan. Driver killed, 4 sustained gunshot injuries as kidnappers abduct people, about abduct 3 in Ibadan. I would also see it that Lagos assures sustainable policies on reliable energy and mineral resources. And now on the Guardian newspaper, we'd see here on the cover page that mistrust, greed, stall takeoff of new telephony licenses in 31 states. Mistrust, greed, stall takeoff of new telephony licenses in 31 states. Police nab cousin for abduction, murder of 6-year-old in Zaria. NDLEA nabs grandma for dealing in illicit drugs. NDLEA nabs grandma for dealing in illegal workers amid aging global workforce, low youth entry, empowering older workers, and TUC picket NERC discos offices nationwide. Convict not in house court. 265 local vessels registered abroad as Nigeria lags in registry digitalization. And now we'll take a look at the Nation newspaper. It says on the cover page that FEC adopts CNG-powered vehicles for ministries, agencies. FEC adopts CNG-powered vehicles for ministries, agencies. All new vehicles, generators or tricycles being procured by the Executive Council, FEC adopts. And then we see here as well that the new Seraph urges patience, prayer for Nigeria to overcome challenges. The new Seraph urges patience, prayer for Nigeria to overcome challenges. First NBA annual conference in North to hold in Kano. First NBA annual conference in North to hold in Kano. Shikan, Nigeria set to position women for more. Ondo 2024, INEC to close nomination of candidates May 20, says Yakubu. INEC to close nomination of candidates May 20, says Yakubu. Panel to reform NYSC in line with future demands. Panel to reform NYSC in line with Tinubu promises end gender-based violence, promotes girl-child education. MFLA for arraignment tomorrow over unlawful 124.8 billion naira withdrawal. No rift between FCC chairman, 29 commissioners. No rift between FCC chairman, 29 commissioners. Atiku, Obi, Saraki, Lamido begin 2027 coalition talks. Atiku, Obi, Saraki, Lamido begin 2027 coalition talks. Federal government plans productivity-based wage system for workers. Federal government plans productivity-based wage system for workers. I would also see here that Labour seeks reversal of electricity tariff increase. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, First Lady adopts education as focus of #WeAreEqual campaign in Nigeria. First Lady adopts education as focus of #WeAreEqual campaign in Nigeria. We'll also see here that ministry gets UNESCO's inscription for Shango Festival traditional midwifery. Ministry gets UNESCO's inscription for Shango's Festival tradition midwifery. We'll find all of the stories on the Nation newspaper for today. And with all of that being said and stated, we'd like to go on a very quick break. When we're back here, we'll review the papers alongside our in-house analyst today. And just before we go on a break, we'd like to let our listeners know that they can call in on 0903 222 9797 0903 222 9797 or 0818 2222205 0818 and that's this morning. Do stay tuned. We'll be right back on your talk station, Citizen 93.7 FM. listeners, many thanks for staying tuned. Welcome back to Citizen 93.7 FM. It is the half-hour mark, and we're here to review the papers alongside our in-house analysts. So our listeners out there, do call in on 0818-22-22205. Let us hear your take on the stories. This morning, we're going to start this morning's review, taking a look like FG convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protest. You find the story on the Punch newspaper and also on the Vanguard newspaper. Here's another story that says tariff hike, Labour protest disconnects NERC, TCN discos offices. And also on the Daily Trust newspaper, it says that Labour insists on reversal, pickets NERC discos offices. Now, these are recurring stories in line with similar story. Even on the Guardian, NLC, TUC pickets NERC discos offices nationwide, which means that electricity tariff is a major concern at this point. And also, it says, I think on this day newspaper, that Band A customers have now moved over to using solar and they're neglecting electricity right now. Now, Mr. Salamis, what is your own take? What is your review on the story when it comes to electricity tariff hike?
Well, we have been on this, and since last week we have been pleading with our government and other interested parties that the economic hardship in the land is not a joke. It is such that most Nigerians are feeling it. In actual fact, I make bold to say that there's no Nigerian who is not feeling the hardship in one way or the other. And to now add another levy to it, it is increasing economic hardship or untold hardship on the people. And this is not the way to go. Surely, and for keeping government on its toes by calling out workers and conscientizing Nigerians on the need to hold government accountable and responsible to the people. The NRC and the TUC have become the conscience of the nation. We need people like that. We need pressure group like that. We need individuals like that. We need organization like that. Oh, Gani for him. He lived. If Gani want to be alive, Gani will have led the masses on a protest, and he will have used the instrumentality of the law to press for the reversal. Well, thank God that we still have some people who are selfless, who are public spirited, and who are committed to ensuring that the government does the right thing. And what is that the right thing? To look after the welfare and the well-being of the people. That is the way to go. We thank NLC, we thank TUC, and we indeed thank all the organized labor organizations for keeping government on its toes and ensuring that the government is sensitive to the yearnings and aspirations of the people in such a way that the hardship in the land is reduced.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Salami, for that. There's actually a focus towards the hardship in the land, and it has to be curbed, it has to be curtailed, so that citizens can live well and live full. And now we move on to the next story on the Punch newspaper. National Assembly moves to bar CBN governor from partisan politics. It says that the National Assembly is seeking amendments to the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007 to bar top officials of the Apex Bank from partisan politics. Championed by the ex-lawmaker representing Abia Central, Dalente Nwokocha, before he was sacked from office by an appeal court sitting in Lagos. The amendment seeks to prohibit the chairman, governor, and deputy governors of the CBN from engaging in political activities or becoming members of any political party for 3 years after service. Salami, what's your take?
Well, we cannot forget in a hurry what Emefiele, the former CBN governor, did, and how he unabashedly threw caution to the winds. And it's the constitutional right of every Nigerian to aspire to any public office. Yes, it is true. It is also true that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the ground norm, and it prescribes what and what should be done by who. And we must not forget that there are exceptions. Even though the Constitution does not preclude the CBN governor and the deputy governor from partaking in politics or aspiring to be a public office holder, as it were. But we must not lose sight of the fact that there are some public offices that require total neutrality, and the occupier of such office should, in the larger interest of the nation, forfeit his right so that things can go well. We are not seasonal thinkers. We cannot forget in a hurry what happened some years back in not too long a distance. How the erstwhile governor of the central bank threw caution to the wind and was prodded on by some media gurus, and we know how it ended. Clearly, it is the right step to take. The National Assembly has done the right thing. There is the need to ensure that there is a need to bar some public office holders from participating in partisan politics. It is in our interest. It is in the interest of this country. And kudos to the National Assembly for embarking on the amendment of the extant laws to achieve that. That is the right thing to do. I think that is the right way to go.
Thank you, Mr. Salami. Now, talking about Emefiele, it says here on the Nation newspaper that, and he is to be arraigned by that's the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. And also in the same vein, still looking at EFCC, on the Punch newspaper, it says that EFCC indicts Sirika brother in new 19 billion naira fraud. Mr. Salami, sir, briefly, what is your take on the stories?
See, we said this yesterday, and we have been saying it here, that the stealing, alleged stealing, or debauchery, or the fleece going on is too much. The kind of money that's been stolen from the public covers is more than enough to make Nigeria another Dubai. I do not think that we are really serious on this issue of corruption and how to curb it. And until we do the needful and we get serious, we may still be in the worst, especially amongst public office holders. The debauchery and the stealing is too much. 19 billion Addis Ababa amongst others, 124.8 billion among many others. And we cannot forget in a hurry the over 109 billion by allegedly stolen by the former Accountant General of the Federation. The Disiani issue has been there for long. There are so many unresolved issues bordering on corruption. Quite many ex-governors have been alleged to have stolen humongous amount of money. If we are able to get this money, it is more than enough this country, and it is more than enough to ensure that no Nigerian goes to bed without food, and it's more than enough to ensure that no Nigerian child drops out of school as a result of the inability of his or her parents to pay school fees or tuition fees. It is much more than enough to give our students and our children the kind of robust education we got. I attended the University of Ife. We had it good. Feeding was almost free. There is the need for the federal government to get serious on at least reducing the spate of stealing in the country. It is too much. It is honestly it is too much, and this is unacceptable.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Salami, for that. Pretty much unacceptable. I do agree, and I'm sure our listeners have their own opinions to share. So it's good to call in on 0818-2222-205 or 0903-2229797. And now let's even talk about education. It says here on the Daily Trust newspaper that Southwest stakeholders meet on education. Education stakeholders from the Southwest sub-region recently convened for an education summit organized by Development Agenda for Western Nigeria. And also on the Nation newspaper, the First Lady adopts education as focus of #WeAreEqual campaign in Nigeria. Also, the Ola Opa seeks overhaul of Nigeria's education system. You find that story on Leadership newspaper. And still taking a look at education as well. Our very own President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promises to end gender-based violence, promote girl-child education. So it is a whole lot on education today. With these four stories, Mr. Salamisa, what is your take? What is your perception towards these four stories?
Well, I am so happy today that we are beginning to place premium on what is important. And what is it that is important? Education. 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 In actual fact, Baba Awolowo said that readers are leaders. There is the need to rethink the philosophy of education. But as it were, there is the urgent need to ensure that Nigerian child or Nigerian children are given the opportunity to get education. Education is the key, is the leveler, is the only platform that can give the children of the poor the opportunity to rise. Only thing you need to break the shackle of poverty. Education does not to move from the poverty line. Apart from that, it gives you that chance to think straight, to think right, and to liberate you from poverty. Education is everything. I thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I thank the First Lady who has given Nigerians the opportunity, especially the girl child and the out-of-school children, by establishing the alternative school. This has gone a long way in restoring hope, in renewing hope. The ability of your parents to pay school fees will no longer be the excuse or the hindrance for not getting educated. We have seen now that education is everything, but it must be the correct and robust education that has taken into consideration the peculiarities of the modern day living, not just certification, but even like that, get certificated. It is better than not getting education at all.
Quite true. So are you saying that education, well, we have young people in the world these days who would rather go and work, have a business, than going to school?
There's nothing wrong in having business. What we are saying is that if you are educated, you do the business better. In actual fact, if you are a tailor and you are educated, don't let me say a tailor, let me say a fashion designer. If you are and you are educated, the way you go about it may surely be different from the way a stack in a better fashion designer. If you are a furniture maker with education, imagine how somebody who studied architecture and now veers into furnishing, the kind of designs he will come out with, because he is robustly educated, because he has liberated his mind and is in tune with the modern day needs. The kind of products he will come up with is different from the kind of what my great-grandfathers who were carpenters then did. Nigeria as a nation takes a rightful place in the Committee of Nations. Look at countries with robust and well-educated population. They are in front. We need to rethink the philosophy of education, just as we should ensure that the Nigerian child gets educated.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Salami. Moving on to another story to review, to look at this morning. It says here on the Vanguard newspaper that President Tinubu directs all MDAs to purchase CNG-powered vehicles. And also in the Nation, it says here that FEC adopts CNG-powered vehicles for ministries, agencies. All new vehicles, generators or tricycles being procured by the government and its agencies must be powered by compressed natural gas, solar or electric. The Federal Executive Council FEC decided yesterday. Mr. Sir, what do you think?
That is where the world is going now. CNG, compressed natural gas. And we know what is going on. Climate change, pollution, and the green up. All these are geared towards making the world, this terrestrial plane, a better place. And again, we should know the implication. It only means that we are indirectly saying farewell to crude oil and petrol, because the demand for PMC will drop. I think we should start thinking along that line and how that will affect our country, realizing that the mainstay of our economy is the crude oil. That is where we make the bulk of our resources, national income, or natural resources. That's where we get the bulk of our money from. But then there is the need for us to think ahead. Let's leave it at that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lamy, for that. Apparently, we are running out of time. Although there are other stories we would love to take this morning, but just before we call it a day, it says here that Church empowers over 20 FCT women on small, medium enterprises. That is the House on the Rock Church in the Federal Capital Territory empowered over 20 women through small-scale businesses and financial grants to make them self-reliant and useful to the society.
Development. This, to me, is a good departure from what not all about Sadakat. It is at times good to empower the congregation. 20 women, one might say that is negligible. No, it is not. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with just a step. It is a good thing to empower these people, because if you empower them, it means that they will be self-sufficient. It means they will be able to take care of certain basic needs. It only means that they too will be in a position to empower others. Let other churches, especially the big ones, emulate the House on the Rock, what the House on the Rock did.
Okay.
This is the way to go.
Mr. Salami, thank you very much, and I'd love to say that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for sticking through with us for the newspaper review today. We would bring you more reviews Monday to Friday right here on your talk station. That means that tomorrow we'll be back here by 7 a.m. to review the newspapers with our listeners and also alongside our analysts. Thank you very much, Mr. Salami.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, and to everyone listening this morning, have a wonderful day.